what we're going to ask you to do is make what we're calling a schematic diagram of your marble machine. And we're going to ask you to do it on graph paper. I have graph paper for you, so I'll give you a piece of graph paper. And then because many of you are like me, where you might be able to draw some things fairly well. There are some things that I can draw, but there's some things that are a real struggle for me. And drawing anything well takes me kind of a while. And I know some of you you can draw things that look better faster than I can, which is great. But for those of you who are like me, you might just think about using these symbols, like we've got a ramp, we've got a pulley, we've got a lever. Those are going to be symbols. It's not exactly what your devices look like, but it'll get the point across. And what you're going to do is you're going to, on your graph paper, draw a picture of all 6 of your machines. And it should show them sort of in order. So you should have 2 ramps, 2 pulleys, 2 levers. If you have an idea, like in your mind, if you're like, ooh, I wanted to start with a ramp, great, start with a ramp. But if you don't know, then you can do them in any order that you want. On your real base, you're gonna have to kind of be working, you're gonna start at one end and work your way to the other, so you're gonna have to kind of go back and forth in order to get it to the end point. But on this diagram, you could just pretend that it's one long machine that goes from left to right. This is not a drawing. You're not drawing out how this is going to look when you're done. You're diagramming how you're going to connect things. So you're going to have 2 pulleys, 2 levers, 2 ramps. If I start, for example, Alex, or actually Zeke, will you go sit in the back? Yeah, just back one. Thank you. If I start with a ramp, then whatever happens next, that marble is going to roll down the ramp. And it's gonna, whatever it does is gonna be lower. So one thing, yeah?
Wait, we have to have 2 of everything?
Yeah, you have to have 2 of everything. So one thing that I might do is I might say, well, I'm gonna start with my ramp way up high. So this is gonna be my ramp here. I'm gonna just draw that like this. And then my marble is gonna go down the ramp. And then what happens next? You may have an idea, which would be great, or maybe not. Maybe you don't have any idea what you wanted to do next. Just pick a machine. I'm going to say a pulley. And if I make a pulley, then somehow this marble has to do something to the pulley. Let's say I take my pulley and I set it up like this, so there's like a bucket on this end. Well, that marble is going to go into this bucket. That bucket's going to go down. And that's going to pull something else up on the other side. And maybe I'll attach that. Yeah?
I just had a quick question. You probably have already answered this.
Yeah.
If you had something set up like that, could you have 2 marbles, so one triggers the pulley to...
Yeah, you could do that. And what we said in the instructions is that there should only be 1 marble and it kind of migrates across. But the reality is that some of you are going to find that it's more interesting and more fun and you kind of more creative license if you use more than 1 marble. So we'll work with you on that. In fact, I'll draw this out that way just so you can kind of see what that might look like. So over here, well, maybe I'm going to have this pull up on a lever. So maybe my lever looks like this. So now I've got something here. This part is going to go up. This part is going to go down. So maybe I'll put another marble here, and then I'll have another ramp. And maybe that leads to a lever. So there's this, as this marble goes down, make this a little bit smaller so that it looks a little bit more realistic. Like it's going to kind of catch it, right? So this marble is going to get caught on that ramp, and then it's going to roll down here. And then before I had my ramp lead to a pulley, so just for variation, this time I'm going to have my my ramp lead to a lever. So if that's the case, then it's the lever is going to kind of catch the marble like this, and one side of the lever will go down, the other side will go up. I still have a pulley to use, so maybe if I tie a string to this and I make it go around a pulley, so here's my pulley now. This string is going to go up, that means this side is going to go down. So I could have a bucket here with a marble in it, and then I could set something up so that could set something up so that maybe there's a piece here that causes this bucket to tilt. When it hits this piece, it tilts. And then the marble comes out, and I have a light switch here. And the marble comes out, bumps into the light switch, and it flips the light switch, and that turns something on. Or that could activate the Arduino or something like that. So this whole exercise that you just watched took me about 5 minutes. And this is not particularly detailed because there's some things that maybe wouldn't be clear. So you might need to add some writing to this, like string from pulley is tied to the lever. And here you might need to like add a little bit of detail that says like marble rolls off lever and down ramp. And over here I said like this bucket is going to hit something and it's going to cause the bucket to tilt. And so that might need to be clarified here, is this piece of wood causes bucket to tilt. And that kind of verbal explanation can make everything a lot more clear. When I look at this diagram now, I can kind of, sort of see how things are gonna unfold. On the actual base, it's not gonna go left to right like this. So it might be like my first ramp is here, and then my pulley, and then my lever is here, my second ramp, and then my second lever, and then the pulley, and then the light switch. But it's not gonna look visually the way that this looks, but what we're noticing is that some of you are just having trouble figuring out, like, what do I do with these 6 machines that I've built? And we're hoping that this schematic diagram helps. In the assignment, there's another example. This is one Mr. Kirsch did a couple of years ago, and this, again, is missing some of the requirements because this doesn't have all 6 machines, but generally it's the same kind of idea. But what you're doing is you're creating a diagram that's gonna ultimately help you. It's gonna also communicate to us what it is that you're planning on doing with your marble machine. Okay? So I'm gonna pause the video